how's it going? AJ Siegel here. So yesterday we spoke about entry strategies in general. We talked about what it was to export, what it was to license, what it was to franchise, the BOT concept, management contract, turnkey solutions, acquisitions, greenfields. Whatever the case is, again, you need to choose the best strategy which works well with your own business model. And it, again, and I have to stress this more, it has to coincide with the BCG framework, the business, corporate, global. Because if you have different strategies going here and doing this, it probably won't work, or at least not work, to your advantage as you expect it to be. So without further ado, let's go back to our slides, and we'll pretty much summarize the entire subject. So this episode might be a tad longer than expected. So episode 12. So is it easy to go global? Generally speaking, no, it's never easy. But if we were looking for the easy options, we would work for someone else, right? We wouldn't be creating our own companies. So we need to do our, general homework in terms of sensitivity analysis. Maybe, we need to ensure that we sign the right deal, such as exporting the goods, talent. Maybe we even decided to acquire a local venture and use its well-trained, knowledgeable talent. But there still are perils to consider. Let's talk about the forces. So local adaptation, differences in local consumer tastes and preferences. As I said, the Chinese market and the Canadian market aren't similar. Differences in distribution channels among countries. Joint ventures in China and in Canada, you can sell from the States, in Canada, or you can just create a subsidiary or whatnot. It's not a problem. We host the host government economic and political demands. Again, China, it's a little closed up. They decide for you how you can work. In terms of global integration, so global competitors seek to minimize unit costs through location economies, attain low-cost competitor status. So, the point is that the marginal cost would go down while the marginal profit will go up. In commodity-type product industries, intense price competition predominates strategic concerns. So we're always in competition with someone else if we have some kind of commodity, a tangible product. This is why we need to use the integration-responsiveness framework, as you can see on the left-hand side. So, it has its highs, it has its lows, and, we then need to decide how we, divide our competition and how do we look at ourselves as a company. And companies are divided into 4 different groups: international firms, multinational, multi-domestic firms, global firms, and transnational firms. Each and every company should choose the right strategy when going global. Unlike what it has been known within the corporate level, global strategy has to be a sustainable one, where retrenchment strategies could only take action at a later level. Again, we can't retrench within 6 months. We'll have to wait at least 24 months until we understand if what we're doing is correct or incorrect for the business. So it is important to understand that we can't just go back as expected easily. So the global level in general, let's talk about the pros and cons of strategies. So international companies use the home-based core competencies. We're trying to mimic what worked well in the States to Canada, to China, to Singapore, to whatever. We're selling the same products locally and globally. For a good example would be Apple. Apple sells the same products anywhere it goes. It doesn't sell a specific type of model in different countries. Toyota, on the other hand, does sell different brands, different models in different countries. Why? Because each one has its own tastes. Its advantages when, the multinational enterprises face low pressures for local responsiveness, low pressures for cost reductions, and often used successfully by M&Es with large domestic markets. For example, Toyota going to the States, going to Europe, a little different, but it's a large domestic market. Strong reputations and brand names, limited local responsiveness, in terms of customer alienation. Worst case scenario, there is IP theft in terms of reverse engineering. If any of you watched Halt and Catch Fire a couple of years back, we're talking about, taking the IBM personal computer, re-engineer it, and it's pretty much identity theft and IP theft, but there isn't really much to be done about it. Apple sued Samsung for likeness rights, and then they didn't really win at court because Samsung was the one to produce the cameras for them, the screens, whatever the case it was. Let's talk about the multinational level. So, it's used to try and maximize local responsiveness. M&Es hope that local consumers will perceive the products or services as local ones. The strategy arises out of the combination of high pressure for local responsiveness. Okay, it is important to understand that the locals are interested in that, and there's low pressure for cost reductions. Okay, it doesn't matter to us how much it costs in general. Okay, it can be costly and inefficient. There is duplication of business functions across countries. Okay, so we'll have like sales and marketing in North America, sales and marketing in Europe, sales and marketing in China. And there is a threat of IP theft. It always is something that might happen, but just because it might happen doesn't mean that it matters to us. Global standardization. So it attempts to reap significant economies of scale and location economies through global division of labor where capabilities are at the lowest cost. Rises out of the combination of high pressure for cost reductions, low pressure for local responsiveness, and price becomes the main competitive weapon. Okay, so we become cost leaders. Okay, this goes back to the business level. We have to be cost leaders when it comes to that. We have a lot of competition and prices. There might be even a price cartel of sorts, that all prices are at the same level. And the transnational level, which is the strategy that attempts to combine the benefits of localization, high local responsiveness or global standardization strategy. It's the lowest cost position attainable. Okay, so it has to be cheap. Okay, it arises out of a combination of high pressure for local responsiveness, high pressure for cost reductions. It's used by M&Es to pursue a blue ocean strategy. Again, remember, blue ocean, niche market, or other models combining differentiation and cost reductions. And it's very difficult to implement. It's not easy. So rethink your strategy if it doesn't make sense for you guys. So this is pretty much what we talked about when we said that there is the BCG level. Okay, everything has to coincide with one another. If we choose to be like cost differentiators, and go to a different country, and then we need to consider corporate level strategies. Okay, we might need to decide what we need to do first. Okay, are we taking some kind of growth strategy, or are we taking some kind of pause, and proceed with caution strategy? We need to understand what's going on, especially today and age in COVID market. When we go global, okay, and this is super important, we need to decide what we're going to do. Okay, even if we are to acquire a company, does it make sense to do so? Does it reduce our costs? Does it jack up the profit margin for us? This is what we should consider when going global. Again, I'd like to thank you for watching the show in general in today's episode. And, you're welcome to message me in private, send an email over, talk to me. And I hope for great success in your endeavors. See you guys.